Hi y'all, welcome back to Heretic's Bible Study. This is number 3 in the series on the lost word. We've talked about Albert Pike. We've talked about Hiram Aviv. Justin, who should we talk about next?
Moses.
Moses. Okay, that's excellent. I happen to have a lot of books about Moses right here. Boom, at my fingertips. Actually, no, I lied. I have one. I only have one. Just the Bible. So what do we know about Moses? Moses was the leader of Israel, of the Hebrews. They're kind of the same people, right?
Right.
He led them through the desert for 40 years. He died, though, before he himself entered the promised land. What about... What about before that? What about before that? Before he was leading them, how did he get to that spot? What's his biography? If you were writing a school report about Moses, where would you start? You start at the beginning? Where was he born? Do you remember?
Egypt.
Yeah, he was born in Egypt. He was. He was born in Egypt to one of the Hebrew women, I think is what they called them. And they are hardy women. They give birth before the midwives can get there. But Moses himself was, he too was born at home and kept for a minute until his cries started to become very loud and you know, it was time. So his mama, in order to try and get him adopted out, she built an ark and placed this baby Moses in the ark. And he floated down the river Nile. Which river?
The Nile River.
The Nile River. Place names are important. And when we say place names, we don't necessarily mean the location. Right? Because it could be portal. It could be here or there.
Yes.
So, you know, yeah, Jerusalem can be in the Middle East, and Jerusalem can be USA, which is right there, Salem, Jerusalem. Yes, it could all be right here. And how, you know, how big is it? What we call a city, is that a state? You know, should it be more by population? Speaking of population, and totally off the subject of Moses, but speaking of population, I read a stat the other day that I believe it's Minnesota. Which is supposed to be like the 29th most populous state. If I have my, it starts with an M, 29th most populous. Had thousands of undercover agents, information compromised the other day. Thousands, Justin, in the 29th most populous state. Dude, that's fucking crazy. That's like those neighbors and those neighbors and those neighbors, plus the store that you go to, plus all the people that you work with, or most of them, or at least the business itself is a front. Somebody there is working for them. Like, my gosh. Everybody is fucking Donnie Brasco and Mr. Smith. I've been forcing myself to watch the Matrix movies. Is it showing? You don't get the Mr. Smith reference, or did I say it wrong? Is it Agent Smith? What is it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so we're talking about Moses. I'm sorry, bring it back to Moses. That's what we know about Moses. In the ark, floating down the river Nile. The Nile is a river, like Dochi says. Where do we go from here? You know who else floated down the river Nile? Do you know who else floated down the river Nile?
No.
It had a brief mention in this book, which we read yesterday. I don't know if that's the right pronoun. Forgive me if it's not. It's not. Forgive me. Oh no. Stop. We're making it worse. So starting with the center and focus, the lost word, it is clear that it is the lost logos. That which preceded not only the creation of the world by God, but also the awareness of that God by the world. I'm just going to read the whole thing, even though there's so much extraneous detail. It is no longer the lost identity of the master mason. It is neither the real name of the master Hiram, nor of the word that is Jesus Christ. It is the word of St. John, the same as Osiris, the sun, considered as the demi. I feel like I'm reading this wrong. Let me start this sentence again. In other words, the word of St. John is the same as Osiris, the sun, considered as the demiurge, the maker of the world under the direction of the supreme being. Which means that the primary state of natural religion which preceded this time when the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was worshipped as the second stage of the world. Period. That was a long sentence, right?
Yes.
So what they're saying is the word of St. John, which is the same as Osiris, the sun, considered as the demiurge, the maker of the world under the direction of the supreme being, end quote, is that which preceded not only the creation of the world by God, but also the awareness of that God by the world. Which, by the way, St. John himself, to go off on a tangent because it's not Moses anymore, but what does St. John say? In the beginning. In the beginning was the Word.
Was the Word, and the Word was
with God, and the Word was God. I thought you were going to finish that. You had that.
Beginning.
Yeah.
The Word was God, and the Word was with God.
Right? So that's what St. John wrote, which that's how they interpret it, right? That which preceded not only the creation of the world by God, but also the awareness of that God by the world is the same as Osiris, the sun, considered as the demiurge, the maker of the world under the direction of the supreme being, end quote. So Osiris is another ancient Egyptian character. And Moses is an ancient Egyptian character. Osiris floated down the Nile when Set tried to kill him. When Set did kill him. Set succeeded in killing him. Well, I guess he was like Schrodinger's Schrodinger's dead. He wasn't really dead. He was just locked in a coffin. He was locked in a golden chest, right? Yay. Yay for words. Yay for the difference. He was locked in that golden chest, and he was thrown into the river Nile, the same river that Moses was thrown into. And he floated down the river until he hit a tree and merged basically with that tree. The tree grew around him or something. And it was cut down and made a pillar. That's what Hiram Abiff made for the temple. He became a pillar in the king's castle until Isis came and got him out. She resurrected him for the first time. And then tried to kill him again, of course. But Moses also floated down the river and ended up in a king's castle, right?
Right.
In a pharaoh's castle. And I think some consider Moses to be the first Mason. So let's see what we know about Moses from the Bible, right?
Right.
That's probably where to start. Okay, and we know that we're talking about the Deuteronomy age, so let's just read the intro to Deuteronomy. Does that work?
Yes.
The word Deuteronomy, meaning repetition of the law, as the name of the last book of the Pentateuch, arose from a mistranslation in the Greek Septuagint and the Latin Vulgate of a phrase in Deuteronomy 17:18, which in Hebrew means copy of this law. The error is not serious, however, since Deuteronomy is, in a certain sense, a repetition of the law. The Hebrew name of the book is Ella Hadabarim. These are the words, or more simply, Debarim, words. How interesting that it rose from a mistranslation when we're talking about a lost word. Does that feel a little coinky-dinkle?
Yes.
Just a little, right?
Yes.
Continuing on. The book is probably to be dated circa 1406 BC. The book itself testifies that for the most part, Moses wrote it. And other Old Testament books agree. 1 Kings, 2 Kings. Though, of course, the preamble and the report of Moses' death were written by someone else. Jesus also bears testimony to Mosaic authorship, and so do other New Testament writers. Moreover, Jesus quotes Deuteronomy as authoritative. In the New Testament, there are almost 100 quotations of and allusions to Deuteronomy. Tradition uniformly testifies to the Mosaic authorship of this book. Deuteronomy locates Moses and the Israelites. Okay, so that's what we're going by here, the Israelites, in the territory of Moab, in the area where the Jordan flows into the Dead Sea. As his final act at this important time of transferring leadership to Joshua, Moses delivered his farewell addresses to prepare the people for their entrance into Canaan. These addresses were actually a covenant renewal. Excuse me. This is a very important time in history. We're building Solomon's temple. Right?
Right.
here in the Bible, the word is lost through a mistranslation in the Greek and the Latin. Probably because the Latin, I think, used the Greek mostly to translate. And when you look back at it, really what you have to remember is, one, English is equivocal. And the English came from the Latin. Probably the Latin and the German, but let's just say the Latin. Latin is occult. All the meanings are hidden, are obscured, right? Latin is based on the Greek. Greek is backwards. Greek is backwards, okay? Greek is based on the Hebrew. And the Hebrew is reversed Kemetic. And Kemetic can only be known by very few. So, you know, if you can get down to Hebrew, if you can get down to the Hebrew, ooh, the letters are the microcosm of the Bible. As above, so below. Right? And the Bible is the gold standard. Oh, I should say, that's funny. When it turned right to that page at the gold standard. And I was going to say, it really should say the bimetallist standard. Bimetallist. Because it's gold and silver. Do you know the whole world was on the silver standard? Up until very recently, 1873, the whole world was under the silver standard until, not the whole world. Well, the whole world loves it when you act a clown. Don't believe anything that I say. But it was still in effect by a lot of the world until 1873. Dating all the way back to the ancient Sumerians in 3000 BC, which is 1,500 years before the assassination event in this book, plus another 100 years until we get this book, plus 400 years till we get to the events of King Solomon's temple, the time of it's the age of Deuteronomy. King Solomon is king over the Israelites. As the genealogy of King James himself, the royal genealogy puts it, these are the kings of Palestine. Have you heard that word in the news?
Yes.
Is it okay? Is it okay if those are the kings of Palestine?
No.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Shit. It's not okay. Funny how a fly came by just at that moment. He plans on waiting for his moment to discredit me. I mean, how can you, already I'm a clown. How can you believe anything that I say? For real, you know? I make mistakes all the time. Plus, who knows who's lying to me. But that's why, it's the Bible. The Bible is the standard, not what I say. Not what I say, right? What the Bible says. That's why the Bible is the gold standard, because your translation, my translation, everybody's translation is going to fucking change. But no matter what version of an English translation that you have, I guarantee you, it doesn't matter if you have fucking King James or the Dewey Rhymes or the English Standard Version or the New Living Version or the NIV or the LMNOP, the fucking whatever it is, right? All the fucking letters are covered. What are the first three words of the Bible, Justin? Go.
Pierce it.
Yes, but in English, please. In English, please. What are the first 3 words of the Bible?
In those days.
No. What are the first 3 words of the Bible? Are you going to Google it? You don't know this one? Did I put you on the spot?
Yes, you put me on the spot.
In the
beginning.
In the
beginning.
Okay, for bonus points, Justin, tell me what are the first 4 words of the Bible?
Oh my God!
You've already got 3 of them. What is the 4th? You can start at the beginning again, too, if you need to. Try it. Just yell it out. Do it, Justin. Do it.
There.
No. Come on. In the.
God.
Yes!
Yes!
Yes! In the beginning, God. It does not matter what your English translation Bible that you have. In the beginning, God. And yes, it is the word Bereshit. Actually, Bereshit bara. In the beginning, God. Bereshit bara. The first 9 letters of the Bible. When I say the microcosm, I mean the microcosm. Yes. We're going to go from quantum. And smaller than a microcosm just means like as above, so as above, so below, or really as below, so above. On earth as it is in heaven, please. Oh, gosh. I shouldn't have done my palms at the same time. That kind of twisted my energy. So thus, gold standard, Bible gold standard, right?
Yes.
Also silver standard. They have devalued it. They have devalued it so much that, most people I don't give a fuck what the Bible says, right? The Bible is just blah, 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 blah. It's just copied. It's just stolen. Yeah, the whole fucking language is. Whole fucking language of Hebrew is stolen. I just told you it's reversed. It's reversed from Kemetic. It was all stolen from Egypt. Because, again, Moses, who was Moses? Moses was Egyptian. He was Egyptian educated. He was discarded by his mother in hopes that he would live. But basically, left for alive or left for dead. Like Osiris, the first time he was thrown in the same river. The river Nile. The Nile is a river in Egypt. Moses was though picked up by the princess, right?
Right.
He was given back to his mother for another 5, 6, 12 years until he was a young man, ready to go and take his place in Egyptian society. I'd say he was probably about 8 years old, although they usually say that he's 12. But 12, come on, man. No, about 8. 8's a good age. Let me take a look at you. Okay, kid, you're just going to go and fight or whatever. Or, ooh, can you play music? Let's see what you can, Let's get you busy, man. You're here to fucking entertain me. I have a son now. What do sons do? Yeah, come on. I'm not taking you to fucking soccer practice. Yeah, she's the fucking princess. He's Egyptian educated now. He's trained very quickly in the Egyptian arts. The Hebrews had no writing. They're slaves. They don't have books. They don't have libraries. He's not book smart. But he develops that when he's in Egypt. He's Egyptian educated. And he's also gone from being like a kid of the streets, right? I mean, he was a slave kid. He was like little Aladdin. One step ahead of the... Who was he ahead of?
On the hood?
And that's just... These people can't appreciate I'm broke. I'm sorry. I got us distracted. That's who Moses is as he's a kid. I was like, he's 8 years old. 8 years old. Basically. You want to go out and play, kid? You want to have any kind of any kind of little freedom. You want to see a girl. You want to do something. You want to just, get out of this room. That's how you have to live. And that's how he did it because he was, look at him. Just as a grown man, all of a sudden, how'd that happen? Because it doesn't tell us about him losing any parasites or anything like that. He didn't make a big change and then his whole life turned around. But he does as an adult. He does as he's an adult because, you got to go to work. Just like Harry and William were members of the Her Majesty's Royal Armed Services. Moses is going to work. He's overseeing their slaves. His slaves aren't flying planes and killing civilians and doing things like that. His slaves are building palaces. I don't know. They're building dams. They're doing other shit. They're probably prisoners, right? And they're slaves. For some reason, the images that come to mind feel like the chain gangs and stuff like that. But they were probably more like it's probably more like coal miners. Like the people who built Hoover Dam, their fucking money, it's only good at the company's store. And you can't bring your old lady out here and you don't, fuck, no kids. So, life sucks and then you die. Now, Osiris, on the other hand, here's what the World History textbook, Patterns of Civilization. And let's see, we have this, this book is the property of State, Texas, County, NEISD, Parish to Hell, Other, No Way. When Kathy got it, she said it was brand new. Look, Kathy says it's brand new.
This is so brand new.
Yeah, Skinner is the winner. It's number 84007. Isn't that interesting that it's 007? Considering what I just said about the princess. Not princess, but the princess. The current ones, Harry and William, having to serve in the Royal Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so ancient Egypt begins on page 30. Egyptian farmers gave special attention to Osiris, god of the Nile. According to an Egyptian legend, Osiris was murdered by his brother Set, an evil god who caused harvests to wither and die. Isis, the wife of Osiris, brought her husband back to life, but Osiris did not return to the world of the living. Instead, he reigned as god of the underworld and judge of the dead. Every year, Egyptians celebrated the death and rebirth of Osiris, which they identified with the rise and fall of the Nile. Belief in life after death was central to Egyptian religion. Excuse me. Was central to Egyptian religion. When a person died, friends said, "You have not gone away dead, you have gone away alive." Egyptians thought that in the afterlife, people were happy, well-fed, and busy with the same activities they had enjoyed in life. They believed that the dead did not automatically go to the afterlife. Instead, they went first to the underworld, where they were judged by Osiris. Standing before Osiris, the dead declared that they were innocent of sin. To see if they spoke the truth, Osiris weighed each heart against a feather, the symbol of truth. Those who failed the test were eaten by a monster. The reward for those who had lived moral lives was entry into the afterlife, or the happy field of food. Egyptians planned carefully for life after death. I don't qualify for a happy afterlife. Do you? Do you feel you do? What about you? Do you feel like you do? I don't feel like I do. I don't qualify for a happy afterlife. And people think that Jesus is... Why do you argue about what Jesus is, whether or not he's historical? You don't fight this way over Don Corleone or Huck Finn. Just, what does the book say? Okay, the book's the gold standard. That's it. That's what it means. The book's the gold standard. It means what it says it means, right? What does it start with? What are the first 4 words of the Bible?
In the beginning, God.
Yep, in the beginning, God. Any Bible, anywhere. Any English Bible. Any English Bible, anywhere, is going to start with those 4 words. And if it starts with those 4 words, that is the gold standard. We can trust it, okay? So if the only thing that we have to argue about is what's different between your translation and mine, okay? That's it. That's it. The terms create the terms, right?
Right.
Okay, that's it. It doesn't matter that it's bullshit. It doesn't matter that it's bear shit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's a gold standard. And it's the silver standard. It's bimetalist. We can use it both ways. Because it's not that it's unerring and, how does it go? Unerring and infallible? Is that how you say it?
I don't know.
It's not that the Bible is unerrant and infallible. That was a proclamation by the Pope. I believe it was Pope Leo X who said that. It was another Pope that said, oh yeah, also the Pope is unerrant and infallible. So they did both of those. But the Bible doesn't say that, right? The Bible says that is useful for teaching, for correction, for instruction and knowledge. So, all right. I think that's enough for today. That's who Moses is. That's his connection with Osiris. Right?
Right.
All right. Peace out.